It's everybody's favorite time of the month. Open Gate box. Let's see what's inside this lovely box for December. Take the tape off. And what do we have? A note that says what's all in the box. Ooh, right off the top, we have Windblown. Oh, how cute. It's going to make some snowmen. Looking forward to making that. Cute. Oh, and then some snowmen fabric. Look at that. There's a fat quarter. What do we got here? Oh, I already went on my bowl cozy kick. Here is a bowl cozy. This one says pan protector, but you know, same difference. Ooh, and 2 spools of thread this month. We've got Orfill color number 2630. 2630. It's like, looks like a black. And then color number 2024. Hey, that was last year. That's their white color. All right, so you guys know how this is going to go. As always, we're just going to, oh, here, I'll tell you now. The fabric is Snowy Days and Frosty Nights by Studio E Fabrics. And then the other one doesn't say. So let's take a look at the fabrics before I press them. How about that? Because we're going to be making this project anyway. So let's open it up. Okay, that will be the project. And it comes with the directions. Let's get this open. We've got fabric numero uno. That's so cute. Then the second fabric is a solid white. Then this fabric is snowflakes. And then we have some mittens and hats and broomsticks. And then a houndstooth. And then a little scrap of black, which is probably for their heads right there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and press all this and we'll get started. So I have my directions here. I'm going to really pay attention because, you know, I've been cutting things wrong lately. And I'm going to go ahead and pay attention to what it says, what fabric it says. It's clearly wrote out on the directions to make it easy. So I'm just going to grab a pencil so that I can put a mark next to each one I've done. And I think I'm going to spare you this, honestly, and just skip this part and then come back when everything is completely cut out. Here we are with all the parts and pieces. Now these are borders, so I really don't need those at this point. I'm just going to set those aside and work with all this that's right here. So I'll just slide that over because all that goes together. And then all this goes together. And then that, and that, whatever. Anyways, so now it's telling us we're going to start with the background squares. These are the 2-inch ones. And we are going to draw from corner to corner on them. I'm not going to do that because I use seam tape and I really don't need to draw. And then it's telling us to put it right sides together on the back side of one of these rectangles. So we have 3 of them right here, there, here, here, this one, and this one. And then pay attention to the directions because we're going to stitch from corner to corner right here. So out, away from, so that they are sitting out and away like this. So I'm going to sew from corner to corner on all 3 of these and I shall return. All right, so once these are sewn on here, I'm going to go ahead and trim off the excess, making a 1/4 inch seam. There's 1. Oops. Number 2. Make sure you're trimming off the correct side and not the actual thing. If you do, though, just know there isn't enough fabric left of this to do that if you accidentally cut wrong. So make sure you don't cut wrong. All right, I'm just gonna toss those. And I'm going to go ahead now and take these to the iron and press towards the piece that we added. So towards this one. Now that these are sewn, the next step is to take a rectangle from here. Okay, so we need 3 of these. 2 and 3 of our white rectangles. And then I think there's only 3 of these. 3 of our black rectangles. Let's just move this out of the way. So like this, and like this. Upside down for you, obviously. I'm doing it facing me so that I don't mess this up. And then we're going to take these that we just made and stick them right here on top. So for you, it should look like this. And we're going to create this unit and sew these 3 together. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Once they are sewn, we're going to go ahead and press towards the center. So I'm just going to press towards that dark charcoal color like this at the iron. All right, once they are pressed, for you, this is what your unit should look like. You should have 3 of them. Now we are going to take 2 of these and place one of these on the side. So for me, it would be this side. For you, it would be that side. So turn this around. This is the way it's going to go. 2 of them. And then your third one is going to be this houndstooth one. And I don't know how that's going to go yet because they only want you to do these 2 first. But I think I'm going to skip ahead and look at the other one is opposite. So it would be on this side because the middle guy is opposite of these 2. So if these 2 are on this side, this one's going to be on this side. So I'm going to go ahead now, put these right sides together, for me at least, and this one will be on the opposite side. Yep, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead now and take these over and sew them. Now that they are sewn, I'm going to go ahead now and press them towards the big piece right here. So we should have 2 units that face this direction. There's 2 that are this way and 1 that is this way. I'm going to again turn them towards me so that I can see the next step for myself. And we're going to grab all 3 of these. 2 will go on this one right here, and then 1 will go on this one, just like that. And we're going to sew these on with a 1/4 inch seam. Once they are sewn, I'm going to go ahead and press them towards this. So this is what your pieces should look like. Your houndstooth is on the opposite side of your snowflakes. So there's that. All right, so the one with the houndstooth and all the houndstooth prints on this side, and the 2 that have this background on this side. So remember that. Now, okay, that's opposite. So I got to make sure this one faces me because it's opposite. I'll turn the other one around though. So now we're going to take, oops, that's the opposite. That's on this one. And this one will go on this one right here. And then 1 for this one. So remember, houndstooth, background 1, then these 2. So this is what it should look like for you. On this side right here. And this side right here. So the opposite side gets that piece. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now and sew these and then press towards the piece I am adding. So again, I'm pressing towards the piece I added. So this would be facing this way for you, and then the houndstooth one is facing this way. All right, they are all nice and pressed. All right, I'm going to face it towards me. We are going to make 3 of these now, our 3 white squares. And one of them is going to have the houndstooth, same as we did with this one. One had the houndstooth and the other 2 had the other pieces. They're going to go in one corner like this. Oh, I only need 1 for that. And then these other two backgrounds will go on these two, and we're sewing them in opposite directions again. So from out to in to out. So I'm going to go ahead and sew all these on, and then we're going to press towards the piece that we just added. Oh, I want this one to face this way because that's the snowflake. So I'm going to press towards the piece that we're adding like this. So I'm going to go ahead and do all three of those. All right, they are pressed. So this one will go with that, and these two will go with these two right here. Next is these. So 3 of these with 3 of the whites. We're going to go ahead and sew these right sides together. All 3 of them. For all 3 of these, it's going to be the same. So I'm going to go ahead and sew on the short side of all 3 with a 1/4 inch seam. Once they are sewn, we're going to go ahead and press them towards the colored piece, not the background, or the white, I mean. So they're just going to get pressed away from the white. Those are now pressed. Now, I think I skipped a part. Oh, yes, I did. We have 3 white pieces left. 2 of them will get these 2 background squares. Like this. And then 1 will get the last 2 squares from the houndstooth. And then we're going to sew from the inside out, like this, on all of these. Alrighty. Take those to the sewing machine and get those sewn. Once these are sewn, we're going to do the same as we did on those previous snowballed corners and cut away at 1/4 inch. And then we're going to press towards the snowflake or the houndstooth. Press towards that piece we snowballed on, and you should have 3 units that look like this. Just going to cut them off. Again, making sure you're cutting the correct side, or else this doesn't work like you think. And 1 more. Now I'm going to press. Once they are pressed, we're going to make units. So there's this one is going to be that right here. Right there. And where's the houndstooth one? That will go here. So here's where that one is going to go. It's going to look like this, a 3-piece unit. I'm just going to leave it right here so you can see. And then these 2, let's move all this stuff out of the way. I don't think that's right. It goes like this. Aha. All right, then we're going to have this one facing out this way. Hold on. I got to face them so that you can see. And this faces that way. Whew. You know, one faces out this way. Then it has this touching. And this way. I think. I might be wrong. Nope. It would be the opposite side. Because they're opposite of each other. Oops. This. Right? Yeah. Let me look at it in front of me proper way. It's going to be that, then this, then that, and then one of these. Aha, I see. All of that goes together like this. So all 4 of those will go together. And I'm going to make 2 units that are that shape. We'll just face them towards you so that you can see the 2 units. 2, 3, and 4 pieces right there. And then we're going to do the same with this one. I'm going to grab the one and only one of those, and that will go on this side. So they're opposite. Yep, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and sew these together and then press according to which way it says. It looks like towards the dark, so press towards this, pressing towards this on the whole thing. So that's what I'm going to do. Press this way on these 2 and this way on this one. All right, I'm going to sew these up. All right, these go on this side, this goes on this side. So here's the green houndstooth snowman, and then these two are the background with the snowflakes. So now we just need to sew these together. They should be exactly the same size. I'm just going to go ahead and go right sides together. Oops, come on. Grab just one and then sew that seam. Let's put this one together, sewing that seam, and this one together, sewing that seam. Once they are sewn, we're going to go ahead and press up towards this piece right here, towards the upper piece. So for you, it'd be right here. So we're going to press up this way on all of them. That way, there's less white sticking out on the white side. So I'm going to go ahead and press. Now everything is pressed. I'm going to go ahead and attach some of these parts and pieces. This will go on the sides. This is the shorter one, I think. Once those are sewn on, then the longer one will go on the top and the bottom. And you have those same pieces for these fillers right here. The shorter ones will go on the sides. And then the longer ones will go on the top and bottom, like so. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this and then add these. I'm going to press towards these the whole entire time. So just pressing away from the center on all of this with a 1/4 inch seam. Here are the blocks. So we're going to go ahead and turn because we're going to stack them like this. And we're going to sew these straight together just like this with the houndstooth one in the middle. So I'm just going to go right sides together. They should be exactly the same size. Sew this and then add this one. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this one on, then add this one, and I'm just going to press whatever way now because it really doesn't matter sewing these together. So that is what I'm going to do. All right, it's together. So the final step is to we're going to start with this white. Go ahead and attach one of these to each side. Like that. Sew those on, and then I'm going to take half for one of these tops and half for the bottom, and then we'll add the second border, and it should be done. So I'm going to go ahead now and just put these on first, sides, then the top and bottom, and then I'm going to repeat that process, sides for these, and then top and bottom. And then what's left over is supposed to go towards the binding. So I'm going to go ahead now and sew these on. My top is done. I need to make the back for it, but I am going to use the fat quarter that came with this. So I'm going to lay it somewhere, probably this direction, and get a top and bottom to it. Something on the top and something on the bottom. And then load it on the long arm and quilt it with some scrap batting because I have tons of that too. So I'm going to have to build on the top and the bottom, and I'm probably going to need to use leaders on the sides just so that it'll fit on the frame because there's definitely not enough fabric this way. But I'll make a back that's as wide as this and then go from there. So the next thing you'll see me do is we're going to scribble quilt all over it. Yay! So I have it loaded on the long arm, and I have decided to do straight lines. Obviously this is in the up and down, so it's upside down for you. And I have it sideways on the long arm for me. But I decided I want straight lines going from the top to the bottom, and I'm going to do them 1 inch apart. Now, I'm not going to use the ruler for this. I'm actually going to use my channel lock, which is, for me, a plastic thing, not computerized or magnetic or whatever those are. I'm just going to use this right here, put it onto the wheel when I align my foot with 1 inch from the previous line, and just go across it with straight lines. And then we will sew some buttons on. I gotta look and find me some buttons for the eyeballs, and that's about it. So let's get to stitching. All right, it just got a simple little quilting on it. So now I just need to trim it nice and square and then bind it. So I'm going to go ahead now and just trim it, lining up my squareness of things. It is just a wall hanging, so it doesn't have to be perfect, even though I think this is being cut pretty darn square at the moment. All right, set that aside. Cut this side off, and then I'll cut the two sides off at the same time. Well, not same time, but all right, now that it's trimmed, all we have to do is make our binding. So I have my binding strips here, and I have a little bit left over. If this isn't enough, I have plenty left over to make a fourth strip with what was left over from the border. So let's get to the binding. And then also I'm going to use some ribbon for some hanging hooks since it's a wall hanging, and I don't have anything that matches this one, so I'm just going to use cream because cream goes with everything. So I'm going to use some cream hanging hooks. And that's how I'm going to do this. So I was going to use buttons, but then I decided, you know what? embroidery floss and an embroidery needle. I am going to embroider eyes and 3 buttons on each of these. Let's do that. And while I'm right here, project number 2, I'm not going to do that because it has a fat quarter in it and it had the piece already cut of batting, but that just makes a bowl cozy or a pan protector. In this case, it makes a pan protector. I really don't care to make any more of those, so I'm just going to put that in my bowl cozy bin and the fat quarter in my fat quarter bin. And you guys have seen I have a bowl cozy video. You can watch that if you want to put that together. So I really don't know how to hand embroider, but we're going to figure this out together. It has a big eye, so I'm going to try to, let's see if you can even see that. There's a big eye right there. I'm going to try to get this into that big eye. So here it is. Obviously, you could see the embroidery right there. I will finish the rest of them off camera because it's taken me a while since I don't really do that ever. But there it is, all done. Let's take a closer look. So there's number 1. You can see my stitching 1 inch apart. And then if you come up here, you can see the stitching. So I just need to put the eyes and the 3 buttons. Well, you know, the 3 dots, which would be buttons, I guess. And then the 3rd one. There is what it looks like. I just used 10 stitches per inch on the stitch. And then the back, I just so happen to have snowman fabric that matches. So you can see there's the snowman that was on the fat quarter in the box. And then I had this fabric, which they look exactly the same. So I just put the fat quarter on the bottom and the top, and then here's the hanging hooks. So that way it can get hung. And there it is. Thank you for watching.